You sitting here getting a paternity test because you don't trust this girl, and you the one cheating. You doing the bending. Are you kidding me? Hello, little enzymes. Welcome back to Daisha's Digest. The topic of today's video is the DNA don't lie. We have two stories. They both have updates. All of the information will be included in the description. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and let's just go ahead and get into the video. So the first story was cross-posted to our Daisha's Digest subreddit. This one is actually a little bit older. This was posted like a few months ago and I had it saved, but I'm just kind of like getting around to it. But here we go. So original post is, I just found out that my half sibling is my full biological sibling and I don't know how to move on. I think I need to provide context on this one. Hello, my 25 female parents divorced when I was 3. They just didn't think they loved each other anymore and started dating other people. My mom got married after 2 years when I was 5 and gave birth to my half-brother 2 years after that. My father married when I was 11, but they didn't have any kids. I live with my mom on work days and live with my dad on weekends. I have a very good and healthy relationship with both parents and my brother. I wanted to do those 23andMe tests since the only thing I know about my ancestry is that my dad is Russian. I was talking to my now 18-year-old brother and asked him if he wanted to do it with me, and he said yeah. So I sent 2 samples to the lab and the results came yesterday, and I opened them, and as the title says, we are full biological siblings. I can't be my stepfather's child because my ancestry obviously indicates that I am half East European Russian and other parts of Europe, which my stepfather clearly isn't. And my half siblings, well, now full siblings, I guess, ancestry is similar to my ancestry. So that could only mean that my brother is my dad's son. I really don't see the similarity between him and my dad, but maybe it's because my brother is a twin of my mom. So my mom cheated on my stepfather with my dad after saying that they didn't love each other anymore? What? But I don't want to jump into conclusions, and I will ask my mom about this today when I get out of work. So wish me luck. I mean, that's the only logical conclusion. The DNA don't lie, okay? So somebody else lied. Either it was the mom that lied and just didn't tell the father that he had another kid, or she did tell him and they both decided that they would both lie to their respective partners and just not say anything at all. Either way, somebody is lying, and that's crazy. So the comments, somebody said, or there was a third shooter from the bushes. Somebody said the Russian milkman, obviously. Another person said the sniper mailman delivering from a distance. Oh no. OP said WTF, a laughing emoji. Another person, you have to go talk to your mom, obviously. Someone else, not the a-hole, before talking to your mom, maybe see if your dad will take one, if you have a good relationship with him. Tell him that you took one and had some weird results, and you'd appreciate him doing one too. Don't tell him about your brother. Another person said, no need to say you got weird results. Just a simple, I did a DNA test and it says my percentage ethnicities are XYZ. I was wondering which bits are from your side, so here's a test kit. And then someone else, it's definitely a tricky situation with a lot to unpack. Talking to your mom is a solid first step, and it's smart that you're holding off on jumping to any conclusions until you have all the information. It seems like there could be more layers to the story than just a simple affair, so getting clarity directly from her might help sort through the confusion. Just make sure you're ready for whatever she might say. Good luck with it all. Either way, okay, yeah, as that person said, there might be some more layers to it. Maybe, I don't know, let's just go to the update. So the next day, OP said, I wanted to say that I really appreciate your support and I would like to answer some questions before I continue. Yes, my father is my biological dad, not just because he is Russian, but because we have taken a DNA test for another thing, Not because my dad thought I wasn't his, so get it out of your head. And he is actually the best dad ever. No, my mom didn't cheat on my dad in their relationship. My stepfather is very Italian with the accent and everything. Both me and my brother don't have a speck of Italian in the results. His mother would come from Italy and visit us. No, there is no third shooter. Now let's go to the actual update. Me and my mom have this tradition where we spend the evening together like a girls' night every once in 2 months. And I asked her if we could do it tonight. It's 2 a.m. currently, so it was technically yesterday, and she said yes. I got to her home and we did what we usually do: bake something, eat the baked something while watching a movie of my choice, and talk about things while wearing a weird facial mask. Aw, that's so cute. I decided that since the mood is so cool, why not ask her the question? I was like, hey mom, you know about those 23andMe tests, right? She didn't, so I started giving a speech about the test. After explaining it, I told her I did it with Jordan, my brother, and it came out weird. She asked what I meant by weird. I told her that the test said that we are fully related to one another, and I kind of laughed, but she stayed quiet. OP said, it was wrong, right? I asked her. She got angry at me and asked why I did the test with my brother without asking her first. That's when the realization hit me. I got defensive and asked her if she was serious. She apologized and just sat there for a minute or two. She told me that it was a one-time mistake. So basically, 19 years ago, I was in my dad's home napping. Mom came to take me, but I was sleeping, and Dad told her that she could come later and take me or stay and pack my things before I left to her home. She stayed and they ended up doing the dirty, I guess. Don't let anyone tell you that sleeping doesn't save lives, because it created my brothers. LOL. I was pissed at my mom and dad and asked her how she could do that. She said that it was an accident and they have never done it after that day. And she didn't even know that my brother was my dad's until now. I knew it. I had a feeling. One of my theories was that the dad didn't even know, that the mom was solely keeping the secret. But it seems like she low-key really didn't even know. Unless she's lying, but the truth is out now. That's crazy. She just didn't suspect it. And OP did say that her what she thought was her half brother, now she knows it's her full brother, didn't look anything like the dad anyway, looked totally like the mom. So I could see how the mom wouldn't even suspect that. Dang, that's crazy. So OP continues, I was angry at both of them. They don't understand how much of a problem this could create. My brother literally had a fat crush on my cousin from my dad's side. Well, now our dad, I guess, but it faded away. Jesus Christ, I even helped him flirt with her. Oh, no. Crap, I don't even know what to say. I am still too shocked and disgusted. Jordan literally spent years learning Italian just to speak to his grandma. Oh my gosh. I think I need a proper DNA test without my brother knowing to get some kind of closure. Edit, I have called my boss and said I can't come tomorrow. I have also called my dad and asked if we could meet so both of my parents talk and so I could convince him to give a sample for the DNA test. This is terrible. Just imagine you live your whole life thinking you are Italian and Russian. You learning Italian just to talk to your grandma, and the whole time you're not even Italian. You're something else. I mean, that's still his grandma. At the end of the day, they've formed the bonds. They've lived through the experiences. That is still his family by nurture, but biologically, it's not. This is a freaking mess. Oh, then he was flirting with his own cousin, not knowing that it was his own cousin. My gosh. So some relevant comments. Someone said, does OP's stepfather believe he's Jordan's father? And was he told of the DNA results? OP responded, yes, he thinks he is the dad, and no, we did not. Another comment, wow, what a bombshell. It's understandable that you're feeling shocked and disgusted. This revelation changes everything, and it's going to take some time to process. And then one more comment. I am sorry your family is going to be forced to deal with a one-time mistake your mom and dad made. I am sorry your brother and his dad, the man who raised him, are the ones who are going to pay for it the most. To learn your mom cheated is hard, but to learn your son is not yours and your wife cheated with her ex is going to destroy him. To learn your dad is not your bio dad because your mom cheated is going to destroy your brother. I know you, OP, feel this is hard for you, but it is going to be so much harder for your brother. Stick together and hold tight to your relationship. That is true. That is true. This is definitely one of those things where it's like, you don't even want to mention it, but you got to mention it because there's just, it's just important. It's an unfortunate situation. I wish that she would have done a test or something those years and years and years and years ago just to make sure. And maybe if she would have said something earlier, it would have softened the blow. But now you 19 years in. The kid is grown now. Oh, this is crazy. So there's another update, and this was like 9 days later. Update number 2. This is going to be a long update, but here we go, I guess. A lot has happened since I last updated. I have talked to my dad and mom, and we told him about everything, and he reacted like any middle-aged Russian guy with crippling anger issues and has worked for a sketchy Russian organization that starts with a K and ends with a B and may or may not have G in the middle would react. If you worked for the CIA and are reading this, this is a joke. Well, at least the K part. He was angry, a bit sad, and pissed at my mom, thinking she hid the fact that he is the father on purpose because she didn't want to end her already done for marriage and things were heated between them. Now I need you to imagine this: a 5'5" woman striking a 6-foot-something angry dude because that's what happened between my mom and my dad. I got between them before my dad returned the favor. Oh, he didn't, but OP got between them before he could. And it took a lot of talking and screaming to calm things down between dad and mom, but mom left after a while of not agreeing. It was a crap show. Once mom left, I asked dad if he can give a sample for the DNA test, and he agreed. I took brother's sample in a rather questionable way, but I did the job. The test came back on Tuesday, and yes, dad is Jordan's biological father. I told my mom that it's time to tell Jordan and that we can't hide this from him. She was against the idea, but I did what I had to do. How can you be against that? Every person should know who their biological parent is. It is just important for so many reasons. Now, in the beginning, she truly didn't know. So she has that going for her. But now that you know for sure, you still don't want to tell your son? That's messed up. That is not right. So OP continues, I called him and asked if he could come to my house if he doesn't have classes. He agreed and came to my apartment yesterday. He got in and asked me if everything was all right. I told him that stepfather wasn't his real dad and showed him the results of the DNA test. I guess I kind of shoved it in his face. He didn't say anything for a few minutes and just kept looking at the DNA test. I sat beside him and I didn't know what to do in this situation. I hugged him and asked him if he was okay. He hugged me back and said that he was all right, but it was so obvious that he was going to cry. He told me that he kind of knew that stepdad wasn't really his dad, and I was like, excuse me? In my mind, of course. So basically, his blood type is AB. Mom has the same blood type as him, and stepdad had A+, which is a fact I didn't know. You guys see what's wrong here, right? I can't explain what's wrong, so Google it, I guess. The blood types, I don't be knowing how to figure out the blood types, but I guess he knew because the blood types just didn't match up with the stepfather. And then OP says, but Jordan didn't know who his real father was, so he was shocked when he found out that dad was also his dad. I asked him why he didn't say anything until now, and he said that he didn't want to face the truth. I asked him if he wanted stepdad to know, and he wasn't really fond of this idea. He stayed in my house yesterday, and I guess he is fine for now. But what's bothering me is that mom is not dumb, okay? Stepdad may be a little bit dumb, but mom is not that dumb to not notice it. She is calling both of us, but I guess it's not the right time for another argument. Not gonna lie, that is a good point. I low-key think that the mom did know. I think she's saying that she didn't know just to save face, but I have a feeling she knew all along. I just have a feeling that she knew all along. And even if she didn't, if she knew that she had unprotected intimacy with her ex and shortly thereafter got pregnant, she should have done the responsible thing and gotten a test. That just makes the most sense. Like, why wouldn't you, just to make sure? So I think she's still in the wrong, period. So some comments, someone said, if you told half brother because he had a right to know, you have to know that your stepdad has a right to know, right? Everyone in his family can't lie to him and can't hide this. Not to mention, there's no way the three of you have that good of a poker face and can get through the holidays without either coming clean or telling a lot of lies. And honestly, I think it was up to the mom to tell the truth. Like, if I was OP, I would have given her a deadline. You have until XYZ date to come clean. After that, I'm telling. Just so that I feel like it would have been better coming from the mom directly. I'm just trying to think, if I was in this situation, I would feel a little bit even more hurt if like my sibling is the one telling me and I'm finding out everybody know but me. You know, I don't know. I just feel like the mom should have did it, but hey, at least the truth is out. Somebody said, I second this. He needs to know too at some point, but truth be told, your mother has to tell him. Someone responded, no, bypass the violent cheating slur that committed parental fraud. Stepdad needs to hear the truth from people who love him, who he can trust. He needs to hear it from his kid, not bio, but still his. OP responded, I'm sorry, but my stepfather isn't my dad. He may be Jordan's dad, but not mine. Stepdad literally tolerated my existence because of my mom. And no, I wasn't a bitter kid, nor was I angry because he married mom. I was literally 5. Me and him never had any type of bond or relationship between us, and the hatred is the only thing we have in common. Please change the kids to kid. Oh, so I guess the original comment had said he needs to hear it from his kids, plural. But oh, please correct that. Someone else had responded in this thread and said, wow, I'm sorry your mom failed as a wife and mother. Your stepdad, you don't owe him anything. It's up to your brother what to do with the truth. I hope at least your father was a good dad. I'm sorry you went through this growing up. OP responded, mom and dad are actually very good parents. She didn't treat me differently from my brother, and she has been there through thick and thin. Even if she married stepdad, she never let him treat me badly. Okay, well, that's good. Now, they deleted their account, but I'm just gonna Google real quick and just see if maybe there was any other updates. I'm not finding anything, but you guys are always good for telling me if there is any additional updates. So if anyone else sees an update, just comment and I will read it in one of the upcoming videos. But for now, that's all I'm seeing. So we will go ahead and go to the next story. Okay, so the next one is, am I the a-hole for telling my 21 female family that my partner, 21 male, forced me to do a paternity test? The original post was November 27th of 2023. So it says, my partner and I have been together for over 4 years, and I recently gave birth to our daughter. We had kept the pregnancy to ourselves until our baby was born happy and healthy due to worries about complications as I faced a high-risk pregnancy. We told our families after she was born. While my family was ecstatic, his was questioning if we hid it for other reasons. They've always heavily disliked me and believe I'm just with their son for money. Yesterday, we took her to meet her grandparents from his side, and after some polite conversation, they dropped the bomb that they would be doing a paternity test that he agreed to. To not make myself look suspicious, I agreed to it, but afterward made it clear to my partner that I felt incredibly disrespected. Cue an argument where he told me it wasn't a big deal if it was his and that the test was requested for by them to ease their uncertainty. Fast forward to today, I was having lunch with my mother and told her about the incident, which left her pissed off and calling my partner a couple of names for insinuating I could have cheated. My mother ended up telling my grandparents, who in a rage told him they would no longer accept him in their house for disrespecting me in such a way when the child is practically his twin. We had another argument about it, and he screamed, saying I ruined his image by telling them. Am I the a-hole? Okay, no, you're not the a-hole. And this is something that he did. So you just simply making a statement of fact about something that he did, if that caused him to get his image ruined, then that means he did something to ruin his image. Like, 2 + 2 = 4, buddy. How are you doing something that is causing you to look like your image is ruined, but when someone says something about what you specifically did, you complain that your image is ruined? You did it. This is what happened. Like, how are you upset? Now, my thing is, because in the last story, I feel like the mother should have done a DNA test, but that's because she knew she was cheating. She specifically had unprotected intimacy with an ex. But in this situation, if there is no trust issues, if the other person is not cheating, or there's just no issues like that, and if the two parties who made the child are okay with the results and not doing a DNA test and all of that, that should be the end of it. My issue with this situation is that the family is the ones who requested the DNA test. And then the child's father is not even the one that mentioned it to her. So now you're having conversations about me and our child with other people who weren't even involved in making the child. You have not clued me in on this at all. And I have to hear about it by visiting your family's house and them telling me that they want a DNA test. Oh no, I would not like that at all. I would feel disrespected too. I completely understand why she feels that way. At the very least, he should have brought the situation to her and explained it to her with just them two. But now you got the whole family in on it? No. So some of the comments, someone said his family knew about it and encouraged it. Why shouldn't your family know what he was asking of you? Period. Another person, he didn't care how she looked to his family, so why should she care how he looks to hers? Personally, someone asking this of my daughter would find their butt on the curb and no longer welcome in my house. I'd probably move my daughter and grandbaby home with me until he freaking groveled. And then someone else, he also knows that this whole paternity test idea is wrong and unfair, and so didn't want anyone else to know that he has been complicit in his family's mistrust of OP. And another person, not the a-hole, he just didn't care how you felt when he asked you for the paternity test. But now he expects you to care about his feelings. The road goes both ways. I agree with all of those comments. And so there was an update. Oh, actually, first there was an edit and then an update 2 weeks later. So the edit, some of you are concerned about the hiding my pregnancy part. So to clarify, my partner and I live a couple of hours away from our families since we live by his university and typically only see each other on holidays and special events. On top of that, I have a very petite figure and had a rather small bump until I gave birth, so I was hardly showing as is, which made hiding it a lot easier. Hiding it was a personal choice as I faced horrible anxiety due to constant bleeds throughout my pregnancy, which made me fear the worst. Oh, yeah. Honestly, I probably would have hidden it too. I do that with a lot of things because I be having anxiety and I don't need anybody else's anxiety projected onto me. So sometimes when I do things, I just tell people after the fact or when I'm already pretty much about to do it. So her update 2 weeks later had an edit. She said, before any more comments are made about my position about his parents, there's more to it than just the test. I had always stressed to my partner that I wanted his mother specifically at a distance from our child. This was due to how horrifically she treated us both for the first year of our relationship prior to us moving out together. Secondly, the woman is bipolar and harmed my partner both physically and mentally when he was growing up as a child due to him having ADHD and being more hyper. This is what he told me, at least. Knowing this, I'm obviously weary of his mother around my daughter. The paternity test was just the nail in the coffin for me. Makes sense. I wouldn't want that person around my kid either. So she continues to the update. So 2 days ago, my partner's mother received the results of the paternity test, which of course showed my partner to be the father. They immediately called him super ecstatic and ready to take their place in the life of my daughter. My partner was also incredibly happy as well, since we would now be receiving their support due to the confirmation of my daughter being his. For reference, since he's studying and doesn't work, his family pays for his school and his half of bills. Oh, that's generous. I, on the other hand, work and pay my half of bills myself. In other words, he's reliant on them financially, despite my insistence that we could survive off my salary. To his dismay, though, with the confirmation of his paternity assured, I told him I wanted a break from him and his family's antics. This is not the first stunt they pulled that antagonized me. And before this is flooded with questions as to why I didn't leave sooner, I was naive and thought our love for each other would beat their disapproval of our relationship. I mean, that makes a little bit more sense now as to why he was kind of having these conversations with the family and not cluing in OP, etc., because he depends on them for his livelihood, which is a dangerous position to be in for anyone. If you are listening to this under the sound of my voice, never be fully financially dependent on anyone but yourself. That goes for male, female, them, they, LGBTQIA+, anyone. You should never fully be financially dependent on anyone else, because situations like this can happen where they manipulate. They get you to do things that you probably didn't even want to do because you feel like you don't have a choice. Just wanted to put that out there. From a very early age, I learned that lesson, and yes. So OP continues, our love for each other did not beat their disapproval of our relationship, and that is clear to me now. We ended up arguing over it, but against his wishes, I packed a bag for me and the baby anyways and drove to stay with my parents. He apologized at night and agreed that his part in the entire paternity stunt was messed up, but that he agreed it had to be done even if he was certain she was his. Fast forward to yesterday, he texted me asking if I was willing to see him as he missed me and the baby. I agreed, assuming we could move past the whole ordeal. My family is still against him stepping foot in their house, so we ended up meeting at a park to walk around. He apologized again and told me that the test was done so his family could trust me and willingly be a part of our daughter's life. Though I admitted that I had no intentions of letting them be around her until they at least apologized to me. This heated him up and he began screaming, claiming that as her father, I had no right to keep her from his family no matter what they did. I disagreed, advising him that if they couldn't respect me, they had no reason to be a part of her life. The argument went nowhere, and I left with the baby back to my parents. He's been texting and calling me, saying that he'd take me to court if I deprive his family access to her. I don't think my position on the matter is wrong, but to him, I'm an a-hole for it. TLDR, my partner and I are on a break from each other, but on said break, we began arguing about his family's ability to see her, as I don't want them to since they can't respect me. I mean, that's a tough situation. It's tough because typically I would be like, well, yeah, they can see the kid. Up until now, I haven't heard of them doing anything harmful. Yeah, the paternity test thing was disrespectful and I don't agree with it. At the same time, have they done anything specifically like harmful? Do you really think that the baby is in danger being with them, etc.? If not, like, I think they should be able to see the kid, regardless of me being annoyed at their actions. Now, if they have done something shady to where you think the kid might be in danger, that's another thing, because I'm not gonna have my kid in danger. So, I mean, I think they should go to court. Let the courts figure it out. And then maybe she can, if there's any evidence that she has as to why she doesn't want the family to have access to the kid, like the father can still have access, but the family doesn't have to if she really has concerns. So some of the comments, someone said, notice he says his family, not his rights. Get a family lawyer. Another person, yep, OP needs to stop posting online and talk to an actual qualified legal professional. Another person, sadly, it sounds like they have money and she does not. It sucks, but they're going to get access to the daughter. Hey, that is true. That does suck. So there was a second update 9 months later, September 25th, 2024. She says, I wasn't planning to update, but upon seeing all the requests, I figured I'd do one. If you want the full story, it's all up on my profile. Since my last update, which was around 9 months ago, a lot has happened. As if the paternity test, awful in-laws, and disrespect wasn't enough, my partner was also cheating on me. Now, the irony. You sitting here getting a paternity test because you don't trust this girl and you the one cheating. You doing the bending. Are you kidding me? She says, according to him, it was all emotional and nothing physical, although I find a hard time believing this. It turns out this quote-unquote emotional affair has been going on since I was pregnant with multiple girls. He got caught after deciding last second to meet up with one of them at 11 p.m. one night. So not only you been cheating, but with multiple girls, that's just dirty. That's just dirty. She says he claims they were just playing poker with a group and weren't alone together. Likely story. He was ignoring my messages and calls, so I called his best friend, thinking he was with him, who gave him away. Since then, we obviously broke up and I moved down with my family and our daughter. Originally, I tried to be a bigger person and consider our daughter before my own feelings and decided to co-parent. He would come to see her on weekends, and for a while, it worked. Soon enough, he also moved down to his mother's house after his semester ended, and he claimed our place was too much for him to pay alone. This, although maybe not a lie, wasn't his real reason for moving down. Due to his lack of attending class and poor grades, he was kicked out of his university. This is relevant for later. Fast forward a bit. So not only are you a cheater, you dumb. Not attending classes, not studying, having poor grades. Now, the poor grades part and stuff could be due to his ADHD and stuff, but come on, bro. Fast forward a bit and he's began demanding to have her overnight rather than only the day. I told him he couldn't because she was still strictly breastfed and needed me at all times. He decided to argue our custody at court once and for all. Granted, up until now, I hadn't asked him for a penny for our daughter, ever, or much of anything really. If he saw her, it was his choice, and I never made him pay me any sort of child support. After going to court, not only does he have to pay me quite a hefty sum for child support, but he wasn't even awarded partial custody. The court discovered that on top of not having a stable job, he also doesn't have a stable living situation after his mother kicked him on the streets. Yep, the mother dearest that he was at the beck and call for left him homeless and disowned him after she discovered he was kicked out of his university. For as much as I want to say it's karma, I don't believe anyone deserves to be in any situation like that. That was all back in June. Now he and I are doing better. He's moved into a studio and we agreed he could have her every other week plus on his off days from work. Admittedly, it's been hard to not break down whenever he's around me. I still feel a lot of the pain from when I discovered, and I endured so much just for him to find solace in other women. But he and I have moved past it for the most part and are co-parenting without problems. Thankfully, I want to say I've come out stronger. Our daughter has become my main focus, and I even advanced in my career to a place where I can live rather comfortably. It's not the happy ending I wish I could have gotten, if I'm honest, but I think given everything, it's the best one. Well, at least it's gotten better and you guys are able to co-parent. And I'm proud that you didn't fall back into his mess, because it is very tough, especially when you have basically a newborn or a child under 1 year old. You kind of want to make it work with the other parent and you make excuses, etc. But it sounds like you holding steadfast and not, regressing back to that man. Someone said, I'm concerned that you are setting him up to get 50% custody at his convenience, and it will lower your child support payments if the court makes the arrangement official. It might be wise to consult an attorney before giving up more custody than you want to permanently establish. Also, it seems like you are bending over backward to conform to his schedule. It really should be the other way around. I mean, for me, the 50% custody that wouldn't bother me. I would love if I was in this situation for the father to have 50% custody. And if that means the child support payments are lowered, that's fine, because that means his financial burden is raised because he has the child more. I think that would be fair. Now, I do agree that it does seem like she's kind of conforming more to his schedule, because not only does he get the kid every other week, he also gets the child on his off days. So I think there should be more of a formal custody arrangement, 50-50 split down the middle every other week, but you're not also getting those extra off days. But if he wanted 50-50, he can get 50-50. Shoot, we made the kid 50-50. Somebody said, I second this. I would not be giving him 50-50 custody until a court ordered me to. If you do this, he can go back and get it approved. Also, how stable is he? He's shown he's a liar and makes poor choices. I find it hard to believe that in such small time frame from June to now, he's stable enough that he should have 50-50 custody. Also, the court decided he shouldn't have custody like that for a reason. Maybe until the court decides otherwise, you should stick to it. I'm not saying don't let him see his daughter, but definitely not overnight and 50-50. Just some food for thought. Okay, that part makes sense. If at the end of the day, I do think it would be good for the court to have like a formal arrangement for the 50-50 so that we know that he's stable and the kid is in a good environment. So yes, I see what this person is saying. If the court didn't think he should have 50-50, then why should you think he should have 50-50, basically is what they're saying. So at the end of the day, go back to court, have them approve the 50-50. If they say that it's good and they trust that it's good, then do that. But if he is stable and he has been showing that he's been doing good, then shoot, yeah, go ahead and have 50-50. Let me get some help. You hardly hear about men actually wanting to get the child half the time like that. Well, I won't say, I hardly. Okay, so let me go to her page and just see if there's any other updates. No, I do not see any other updates. So that is the last read of the video. I hope everything is going well with you and the kid, OP. And now I will just go to the palate cleanser. Before I do that, just don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you enjoy vlog style or lifestyle content, I have another channel. This channel is actually my second channel. My other channel, I do vlogs and such. And one of my main goals for 2025 is to post on there more regularly. So you can look at the catalog of videos that I already have on there and look forward to some new content that will be dropping soon. I'll put the link in the description. So for the palate cleanser, it's a video and the title is Michigan Girl Who Is Blind Makes Shot During Basketball Game. So basically, she is a blind girl on a basketball team, and in order to help her make her free throw shot, they are tapping against the back of the, what do you call it? Backboard? Is it a back? What do you call it? Back? Yeah, I guess you call it a backboard. Yeah. So they're tapping on a piece of the backboard, like behind the backboard, so that she can basically echolocate and like know where the hoop is and try to attempt her shot. So here's the video. And she made it! The crowd goes wild. Child, I can see it. I probably would have missed the shot. Shout out to her. So, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next video.